In this video, we'll use our knowledge of similar triangles to find unknown values. So the first thing to remember is, what do we know about similar triangles? Similar triangles have equal angles and corresponding sides are in the same ratio. So we need to look at the ratios to find and use our proportion to find unknowns. So often a question with similar triangles will say, the following triangles are similar, find the value of the unknown. So they already tell you, the question already tells you they're similar, so there's no need to prove it. By telling you that it's similar, you know that the ratios will be equal. So that's the trick with this. So once again, what I like to do, what I think is a really important skill, is I redraw my separate triangles. Obviously, when you redraw, you'd probably use a ruler, so yours would be a little bit neater than mine. So just keep that in mind. So I've got X and I've got H. Then I've got my smaller one. Wow, my triangles are bad. I do apologize for my dodgy triangles. A, B, P, and 4. All right, so in order to do that, we do need to identify our corresponding sides to set up our ratios. Now, there is two ways to do this. What you can do is you can find your scale factor and then apply it. I like to set up a proportionality statement, so I'm going to show you that method. So I'm going to say that PR corresponds to PB. So PR is to PB. Remember, we can write our ratios as a fraction. Now, I'm saying equals because I'm saying this ratio is the same as, then I'll say QR over AB. So I'm saying this side and this side correspond, and this side and this side correspond. So the ratios will be the same. On my next line then, I substitute in my values. So PR is 8 over 4 equals X over 2. So what I do now is I just cross multiply and solve. So 8 times 2 is 16 equals 4X. X equals 4. So what we do here is, unless it explicitly says prove, you don't have to prove. What I do recommend is you redraw your triangles separately, then you identify your corresponding sides, you write your little proportionality statement and solve. Keep watching if you'd like to see another example. Okay, final example. This one's a bit better, okay, because it actually tells us, so I gave one with the question, if the triangles shown are similar, find the values of X and Y. So we already know that they are similar. It's also a bit easier because they've already been drawn separately. So the first thing I do is I label my triangles because it's easier for me to then identify my corresponding sides and angles. All right, so we need to find the value of X and Y. So let's start with X, which is quite straightforward. So we know that angle B is equal to angle E, so they're 45. So I can say that angle A equals angle D, therefore X equals 20 degrees. Okay. Next we need to find Y. So we, once again, like we did before, we set up our proportionality statement. So we use what we know. So for example, I'm not going to talk about AB or DE because there's no information given on that side. So what I can say is I can say that BC over EF, remember this is the other way of writing a ratio. I can also write it as BC is to EF equals, I write equals because they are the same ratio. I'm saying this ratio is equal to, and then I'll say AC is to DF. Okay. Now I just substitute in those values. So 4 over 1 is equal to 9 over Y. We cross multiply and solve. I apologize for my very messy handwriting today. 4y equals 9. Y equals 9 over 4. If you want to simplify, end up with a mixed number, that's quite alright. So we can also say y equals 2 1/4 or 2.25. And that's it.